Welcome to Deep Thought. Love your true self. You know what? It's cliche to say love yourself, to feel good about yourself. But how many of us really love our true selves? And I'm serious. How many loves our true selves? Because look, I've talked about counterfeit personas before. I've talked about masks before. Are we really loving our true self, or are we loving our mask? Are we loving what the image that we present to the greater world? You know? Or are we loving our true selves? Most of us ain't loving our true selves. We loving the image we present to the world. Because the counterfeit persona is not always like bad as far as the outer world. It's not always bad, you know. The mask isn't always bad. What if you have that mask of, perfection? You can get everything done. You can take care of everything. Like, people look at you, they know you can do it, you know? And you can love that. Shoot. A man with that type of mask, you know, he looking good. He got his body in shape. You know, might be handsome, body in shape, making money, sharp. Shoot, really. And this will be another conversation. That particular it's a specific counterfeit persona. Men with that persona actually dominate the mating game. They actually dominate the mating game, right? So that's some real stuff right there, right? So, and somebody could love that, or, or they got a mask of being a dime. That's another one for on the women's side, right? Because let's be real. Let's just be honest. When we talk about dimes and real beautiful women, most of them got makeup. That's not who they are. In fact, there's been several instances, not as much, but they will show like some of these women that we hold up as super beautiful when they don't have their makeup on, and they just like average. But that's their mask. That's a physical part of their mask. And, your mask could be whatever you show. You could be like a naturally acquired introverted person, but your mask could be extroverted. And, you ever run into those people and they're talking and something is missing? Like they saying all the right things, But it's like, wow, something is missing, right? So, but they still get what they want. So a lot of times, and it could be myriad things. I just use some examples, but most of the time, that's not a person's true self. They loving the mask. They loving the counterfeit persona, but not their true self. Their true self is who they are when they are stripped of everything. They don't have the props of the house they live in, because that's a mask. Or the car they drive, that's a mask. They don't, or the job, the status or how much money is in their bank account, those are masks too. When people say, well, I'm doing, I'm in this profession and everything, that's part of the mask, right? But how many people, when you strip all that away and you standing before someone naked, and I don't mean in a sexual way, you just standing there naked, what would they think of? Because you can try as best as possible with that mask there, but it's not the same thing, right? Because you don't have the clothes on that might have signify a certain value, You don't have, your props around you. So how many people can say they can stand in front of someone naked? Naked. Like I said, not in a sexual way, but naked. Or look at maybe a better way of saying it is stand in front of a mirror. Just look at you and think. Like a lot of people, they think, well, I'm this, I did this. It's like, okay, so who are you just on a pure thing? That's your true self. What is your personality when you're away? When you take off the mask? Well, when you can take off the mask. Because some people wear their mask so much, they think that's them. And they love that, but that's not them. Because what happens in life, it'll happen at some point. It depends. For some people, it can happen right away. For some people, it might take years, decades even. Right? That mask going to come off. That mask is going to come off, even in situations where your face has become the mask. It's still a mask. Is that your true self? Is you're going to run into something, and that mask ain't going to help you. You know, the only thing that's going to help you is your true self. But before you can even get to that point of your true self helping you, you got to embrace it. And it's not an evil thing. It's not evil. Some people might think my true self is evil. You know, they might think, oh, well, I'm a bad person and all of that, right? You telling me to love that, Rom? I say, no, that's probably your mask. Because I'm going to tell you what, on a deeper level, most people adopt a counterfeit persona, a mask, a certain level of behavior in response to a trauma. If that trauma never happened to them in their life, they would be a different person. So even when people are behaving in an evil manner, that's still a mask. There's been stories of people, you know, they go on later in life and do some evil things, but then you talk to their parents and they say they were such a good kid. And they sincere too. Or people can remember they were such a good person. But then if you were to, like a trained mental health therapist or a psychologist were to talk with them, they'll find out there was a trauma that put them in another direction. You know? Like when I worked in the criminal justice system in the late 80s, I remember of a story of a young girl who got caught up into the system badly. But it all stemmed from being wrongly accused of something as a child. Now, is she naturally evil? No, she just started responding every time, you know, from a false imprisonment. And just started responding there. That was her mask, but what was her true self? You know? And we all have it. And even despite the counterfeit persona and despite those of us who think that's who we are, deep down we know our true selves. There's moments it's going to come out, not in front of people and most likely, but it's going to come out in certain situations. Now, a lot of times when it comes out, depending on the situation, people will slam it back down, say, no, I can't show it to him, that's weak. Or, you know, it might be your true self might be a person full of heart. But we live in a society that has people really want people to close their hearts. In fact, we look at a person who operates from their heart looks funny to many people. You know, they kind and stuff. They like, or you're doing something just out of kindness, right? I remember one time I was doing something for a young lady who was going through some stuff, and it was purely out of kindness, I wasn't trying to get sex from her or anything. And this was when I was truly known as a player, right? And this other woman said, oh, you just doing that to get with? I was like, no, I'm just being nice. Because that was my true self. Now, was I showing it all the time? Heck no. Heck no. Heck no. It took decades to get the more vicious parts or the most dysfunctional parts of my counterfeit persona on. But I'm going to tell you what, that's a lifetime thing. That's a lifetime thing, because in extremely stressful situations, it will pop up. And it is what it is, right? My particular one, right? Like I said, sometimes it might be a good thing, sometimes it's a bad thing, because, you know, it depends on the circumstance, right? But with this particular day, I always remember, I was just doing something. I didn't have any ulterior motive or anything, you know? My dick wasn't hard with her, you know? I was just being nice. I didn't look for anything in return. And, you know, that's a part of my true self, just doing something without expecting something in return. Now, the mask and counterfeit persona is like, oh, yeah, you got to pay me for it. You got to give me something for this. But it popped out, right? But the key in life, though, embrace that true self. Embrace it. Embrace it. It's who you are. It's the part of you that comes from whoever you call deity or deity. That's how powerful it is. It's a part of you closest to deity. And embrace it. Embrace it. I mean, don't run from it. Learn to love it, appreciate it. It's something special. Now, just loving it will bring that mask off? No. But the more you can love it, the more you can grow that true self. And I'm going to get in more to this later. Anyway, for now, think on what I said. Peace and blessings.